Welcome back to the deep dive, where we always try to bring you, interesting stuff.
That's right.
Today, we're going deep into the Texas real estate market
Oh, yeah. Texas real estate.
with realtor Rachel Tripp.
Yeah. So we've got a stack of Rachel's blog posts from homegirl Rachel Tripp. Plus, her resume gives us like a real insider's perspective.
I like it. I was looking through her December 2024 market analysis,
Okay.
and it really struck me how she pushes back against that whole crash narrative that's been floating around.
You see that everywhere.
Yeah. Is Texas really headed for a downturn, or is there something else going on here?
Well, I think Rachel makes a compelling argument.
Okay.
You'll find she points to factors specific to Texas, like the constant influx of new residents
Right.
and the state's business-friendly environment.
Yeah, makes sense.
She argues these elements create a unique resilience
Interesting.
that national trends might not fully capture.
It's like Texas has its own economic microclimate,
Yeah.
almost.
A little world down there. So while the national picture might be a bit shaky,
Yeah.
Texas could be holding strong.
At least according to Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is she seeing in terms of the factors shaping the market?
She highlights mortgage rates and migration patterns,
Of course.
of course.
Hmm.
But she also dives into some potential impacts of Donald Trump's reelection in 2024,
Interesting.
presenting the information objectively without taking sides.
Yeah.
She just lays out the potential scenarios for you to consider.
I appreciate that neutral approach.
Yeah, there's enough political noise out there already.
Right. We just want the facts.
Exactly.
Speaking of facts,
Yes.
what does Rachel say about the 2025 forecasts?
Okay.
Does she mention Altos research?
She does.
Oh, cool.
She suggests Texas might be heading towards a divided market in 2025.
Okay.
Some areas, particularly those popular with remote workers,
Yeah.
could see continued growth, while others might experience a cooling off period.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on what part of Texas you're looking at.
Does she get into any specifics about which areas might be cooling down?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She specifically mentions Comal County,
Okay.
particularly zip code 78130,
Gotcha.
as an area that's showing signs of slowing down.
Interesting.
This might be due to its popularity during the pandemic boom,
Right.
which is now leveling off.
So we've got some national trends.
Yeah.
Some Texas-specific predictions.
Yep.
And even hyper-local examples.
Uh-huh.
Now let's talk about those roller coaster mortgage rates.
Okay. Mortgage rates.
Rachel's December 16th, 2024 blog post gives a snapshot.
Okay.
6.85% for a 30-year fixed rate in Texas.
Wow.
Slightly higher than the national average.
Yeah, just a hair.
But what's really interesting is how much those rates have fluctuated. Right?
Exactly. Back in September,
Yeah.
we saw rates briefly plummet to 3.99%.
Oh, wow.
Now they're climbing again, which really underscores how unpredictable this market can be.
So are we all just at the mercy of the Fed?
Well, like, what are they doing?
Not quite. They recently lowered rates by half a basis point.
Okay.
But what's fascinating is that mortgage rates actually went up in response.
Really?
Yeah.
So it seems like the market is kind of operating on its own logic these days.
Almost like it's taunting us.
Right.
Like, haha, you think you can predict me?
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own thing.
Which brings us to Rachel's advice for buyers and sellers in this crazy market.
Yeah, what did she say?
Well, she has this great story about a client who hesitated,
Mm.
waiting for rates to drop even further.
Yeah, classic mistake.
Right. And by the time they were ready to act, the deal was gone.
Ooh.
So her point is that trying to time the market perfectly is almost impossible.
Yeah, you can't win that game.
So action over analysis paralysis,
Yes.
especially when it comes to Texas real estate.
I like that.
I like that too.
Action over analysis paralysis.
Okay, so before we move into more of Rachel's advice,
Yeah.
we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're continuing our exploration of the Texas real estate market with realtor Rachel Tripp as our guide.
And as we learned in part 1, Rachel's insights are as valuable as finding a parking spot in downtown Austin during SXSW.
Right.
Last time we talked about those fluctuating mortgage rates
Yeah.
and her advice for first-time buyers and sellers.
Right. We also started digging into some unique trends Rachel's observed.
Yeah.
Like the rise of co-living SFRs.
Right.
And those jumbo loans fueling the trend. Remember those?
Yeah.
They're not just for the super rich anymore.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. It seems like these jumbo loans are becoming more accessible.
Right.
which is opening up opportunities for different kinds of investors.
Exactly. And it's not just about the financing.
Yeah.
It's also a reflection of changing priorities.
Okay.
Investors are recognizing the potential of these co-living spaces to address the growing need for affordable housing options,
Makes sense.
especially in Texas's competitive market.
So instead of just flipping houses for a quick profit, they're looking at more sustainable and community-driven models.
It seems that
Okay.
these co-living SFRs are designed with shared spaces and private bedrooms, catering to young professionals or those seeking more affordable and flexible living arrangements.
Okay, interesting.
Rachel even suggests that this model could attract a new wave of investors,
Oh, wow.
those who prioritize social impact alongside financial returns.
It makes you wonder, could this co-living trend be a game changer in the way we think about housing in Texas,
Yeah,
especially with those rising costs we keep hearing about?
it definitely has the potential to disrupt the traditional housing market.
Okay,
And it raises interesting questions about how we design and develop communities in the future.
that's a good point.
Think about it. If more people are choosing to live in these shared spaces,
Yeah,
how will that impact the demand for single-family homes?
right.
How will it shape the way we interact with our neighbors?
Those are some great questions. I mean, if co-living really takes off, it could change the face of neighborhoods across Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
But for now, it's still an emerging trend, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the coming years.
Exactly. It's all part of that ever-evolving real estate landscape that Rachel is so good at navigating.
Speaking of navigating tricky situations, let's shift gears and talk about that controversial baseball stadium proposal in San Antonio. I remember you mentioned being skeptical about the economic benefits of stadiums.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, they sound good in theory, but do they really deliver on those promises of economic revitalization?
Right.
What did Rachel uncover in her analysis?
She digs into both sides of the argument.
Okay.
On one hand, there's the potential for job creation,
Yeah.
increased tourism and revitalization of certain areas.
Okay.
But Rachel also points out the potential downsides,
Such as
the displacement of existing residents and businesses,
right.
especially in areas where affordable housing is already scarce.
Right. It's like, who really benefits from these mega projects?
Exactly.
Is it the community as a whole or just a select few developers and investors?
That's a key question Rachel encourages her readers to consider.
Okay.
She's not advocating for or against the stadium,
Good.
but she's prompting people to think critically about the potential long-term consequences
Yeah.
and to weigh the benefits against the costs.
It's all about transparency and empowering people to make informed decisions, right?
Exactly.
It's the same approach she takes with those property tax protests and her advice for buyers and sellers.
Absolutely. Rachel consistently emphasizes the importance of understanding the complexities of the market and advocating for your own interests.
And that brings us back to those HOAs, which we touched on in part 1.
Okay, yeah, HOAs.
Yeah, those HOAs, they can be a source of both comfort and frustration.
Yeah, you got it.
On one hand, they can help maintain property values
Right.
and create a sense of community.
A sense of community, right?
But on the other hand, those rules and regulations can sometimes feel a bit overbearing.
Remember Rachel's analogy of fence point color being a matter of national security.
Ah, yes, that was a good one. It's a reminder that those HOA rules can sometimes feel a bit excessive.
It's true, she makes learning about real estate fun, even when it comes to HOAs.
Right.
But jokes aside, what does she say about the history of HOAs in Texas?
Yeah, you mentioned something about their origins being connected to segregation.
It's a part of HOA history that often gets overlooked.
I had no idea.
Rachel explains how HOAs were initially used as a tool for racial exclusion,
Wow.
a way to keep certain neighborhoods homogenous.
That's crazy.
It's a reminder that even seemingly innocuous institutions can have roots in discriminatory practices.
It's a good reminder that history isn't always pretty and that it's important to understand the context of how things came to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while HOAs have evolved since those early days,
Yeah.
it's crucial to be aware of their past and to critically examine how they operate in the present.
Okay.
Rachel highlights the potential for HOAs to become overly bureaucratic
Yeah.
and to impose restrictions that can infringe on individual freedoms.
So it's not just about the color of your fence or the height of your hedges.
Right.
It's about finding a balance between community standards and individual rights.
Right. And it's about understanding the power dynamics within HOAs
Yeah.
and ensuring that they are used fairly and transparently.
Okay.
Rachel encourages potential buyers to carefully review HOA documents.
Yeah.
And to understand the rules and restrictions before making a purchase.
Good advice. You don't want to buy your dream home only to discover that you're not allowed to park your boat in the driveway or paint your front door your favorite shade of teal.
Exactly. It's all about being informed and empowered to make decisions that align with your needs and preferences.
So we've covered some fascinating territory in this deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
We have explored the rise of co-living SFRs, the complexities of a controversial stadium project, and even delved into the history of HOAs. What are your key takeaways from these discussions?
I think what's really striking is Rachel's emphasis on the interconnectedness of real estate with broader social and economic trends. She doesn't just look at the numbers, she considers the human impact of these developments.
That's what makes her insights so valuable. She's not just a realtor, she's a keen observer of the forces shaping the Texas landscape.
Right.
Now, I'm curious to learn more about what drives her passion for real estate and how her personal values inform her approach.
Excellent point. We focused on the market dynamics and practical tips.
Yeah.
But it's time to shift our attention to the heart and soul of Rachel Tripp's real estate journey.
Okay, I like that.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore her background, her values, and what makes her tick as a realtor.
Sounds good to me. Let's take a moment to gather our thoughts and prepare for the final leg of our deep dive. We'll be back soon to uncover the personal side of Rachel Tripp, the woman behind the insights. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking the Texas real estate market with Realtor Rachel Tripp, exploring everything from market trends and investment strategies to those quirky HOAs.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride so far.
It has.
Yeah.
And in this final part,
Yeah.
we're shifting gears a bit.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot about Rachel's expertise, but now we want to understand what fuels her passion for this work.
What makes Rachel tick?
Exactly what makes Rachel tick.
Right.
What values shape her approach to real estate? Let's dive into that.
Okay, so one thing that stands out is her commitment to community involvement.
Yeah.
It's more than just closing deals for her.
Okay.
She genuinely cares about the people she serves and the impact she has on her community.
I remember that Thanksgiving post she shared on Bluesky.
Oh, yeah.
She posted a photo of the sunrise
Beautiful.
and included a quote that really resonated with me.
What was it?
It was from Master Soong San.
Okay.
Go straight, don't know.
Okay.
Save the world from suffering.
Wow.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
And it made me think about how Rachel approaches her work.
Right. Like, how does she put that into practice?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests a deep sense of compassion and a desire to make a positive difference in the world. And that aligns perfectly with her role as a realtor, helping people find homes and navigate the complexities of the market.
It's not just about transactions for her.
Right.
It's about helping people achieve their dreams and build a better life for themselves.
Speaking of achieving dreams, I was intrigued by Rachel's experience as an easement right-of-way agent.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty specialized.
That's a pretty specialized area of real estate, isn't it?
It is. It involves negotiating with landowners to secure easements,
Okay.
which are legal rights to use someone else's property for specific purposes.
So like utility lines or access roads.
Exactly. Like utility lines or access roads.
Okay.
It requires a deep understanding of property law,
Right.
strong negotiation skills,
Yeah.
and a knack for building relationships.
It sounds challenging, but also rewarding.
Definitely.
It shows that she's not afraid to tackle complex issues and find creative solutions. And remember, she also has a background in photography.
Yes, her photography skills definitely come in handy when showcasing those beautiful Texas properties.
I bet those stunning photos probably make a huge difference in attracting potential buyers.
Oh, absolutely. A picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say.
Speaking of attracting buyers, let's not forget those glowing client testimonials on her website.
Those are great.
They paint a picture of a dedicated and resourceful realtor who goes the extra mile.
Like, what do they say specifically?
Well, one client praised her fantastic vision, not just for what a property needs, but for what would make it truly special.
I like that.
Another highlighted her professionalism,
Right.
her positive attitude,
Yeah.
and her ability to make the process smooth and enjoyable.
So she's not just knowledgeable, she's also a pleasure to work with.
Exactly. It's clear she's passionate about helping people find the perfect home, and it shows in everything she does.
It really does.
So we've explored the market trends, practical tips,
Yeah.
and now we've gotten a glimpse into Rachel's personal philosophy.
I feel like I know her now.
I know, me too. What are your final takeaways from this deep dive?
You know, for me, it's been a reminder that real estate is ultimately about people. and their stories.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's about understanding their needs, their dreams, and their challenges.
And finding a realtor who gets that.
Exactly. And it's about finding a realtor who not only understands the market, but also understands you.
Well said. Rachel Tripp embodies that human-centered approach to real estate. She's knowledgeable, she's passionate, and she's dedicated to making a positive impact on her clients and her community.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the Texas real estate market with Realtor Rachel Tripp. We hope you've gained valuable insights, practical tips, and a renewed appreciation for the human side of real estate. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.